Hey everyone, Under100 here, and today I'm going to show you the top 3 things you can do with party balloons. All you need is ordinary party balloons, a lot of time on your hands, and a bit of skill. With that, let's get right into it. At number 3, we have the balloon inside of the balloon trick. This is probably the easiest trick you'll see in here, but this is really the basis for the other 2 tricks. It's very simple. You just take one party balloon, preferably a dark color like purple. You take a lighter color, like in this instance, orange. All you do, you set the outer one aside and you begin to stretch the inner one. About 2 stretches should do it, and about 2 inflates and deflates. Now, take the outer party balloon and do the same thing. Stretching is key, because if you don't stretch it enough, you won't be able to blow it up later. All you do is you take the inner one, roll it up between your fingers, like you would to a piece of clay. Take the end of it and put it inside the mouth of the outer one. It'll take a bit of time, but shove all the inner balloon inside the outer balloon. Once you do this, you'll notice it's in a clump. All you have to do then is stick your finger in and push it down into the main body of the balloon. Once you do that, it should hang freely, meaning that it should be quite easy for you to blow up. Once you're done, it looks like this. If it doesn't look like this and it's still clumped after you've tried to undo it, just start blowing the inner one up. It should make the outer one drop in by itself. And now, here's the hard part. Start blowing. Now this takes a bit of practice because it is really hard to blow 2 balloons inside of each other. It's really hard because there's twice the amount of latex keeping you from blowing. You can overcome this just by practicing, but if you need to, try blowing one balloon and then the other. In my case, however, because I've done this many times, I'm just gonna go right ahead and just blow it up. Once you get to about this size, put your hand on top and squeeze it. If you feel the second balloon skin underneath, making sure that you haven't inflated it too much, just tie it off. For those of you who don't know how to, it's very easy to tie off a balloon. Just wrap it around your fingers and then put it between them, like this. Once you've done that, and it's all tied, like you did at the beginning, begin to scratch the neck of the inner one into the neck of the outer one. You'll know you've done it when the layer between the outer balloon and the inner balloon begins to deflate. Once you get to this stage, all you have to do is just, even if you see the tie in the middle, don't panic, it will go away once you begin to blow. Blow it up as big as you can. If you don't do this, the full effect won't be felt because you won't be able to see inside. If you want some really strong balloons, I'll post a link in the description. These are the balloons I use because they are some of the strongest. They're a bit pricier, nothing too much though, and they have really cool colors and they are really strong. In my case, because it's as big as it's going to get, I'm just going to tie it off now. Once it's tied, you can hold it up to the light and you'll see the inner balloon inside of the outer one. It's a really cool effect because as you toss this one, you'll see the inner one move around inside the middle of the balloon. And when you pop it, which I'm about to do, now if you're going to do this, hopefully show someone that doesn't know there's a balloon inside. All you want to do to pop it is just grab the top, twist it, and it'll pop. As you'll see in the inside, there's the purple one. This really surprised some people because they wonder where the second one came from, but if you want a really cool effect, just show it to them, and they'll just freak out, not knowing how you're able to get one balloon inside of the other. At number 2, we have the 2 balloons next to each other effect. This one is very similar to the last one. It requires a bit more practice because you have to gauge the sizes. Now for this one, you have to do the same thing, stretch and inflate and deflate, and for this one, it's going to be even more key because there's going to be so much more pressure. Again, the best outer layer colors are going to be yellow and orange. They really work well, especially yellow because it's just so clear. Don't use something like blue because if you use something like blue or purple, you'll never be able to see inside the balloon and there'll be no point to all your hard work unless it's what you want when you pop it and surprise everyone. What you want to do is you're going to have to take your outer balloon, set it to the side for the moment, and then take your 2 inner balloons, put them next to each other like this so they form almost in one outside shape. Then, do as we did before, rolling them like you would to make a coil with clay, and then just stuff it in, like the last time, into the yellow one. This will take quite a few minutes to work in, probably around 3 or 4. And for this one, you aren't going to almost certainly be able to shove it in cleanly. So what you're going to want to do is once you get it semi-shoved in like this, put your mouth over them and begin to blow the yellow one. Okay, it's a lot of work, but once you've got it like this with 2 balloons sitting next to each other inside of the outer one, pick a balloon, preferably whichever you want to stand out the most, and just start blowing. The most important thing is that you do not overinflate this too much. It does take a lot of practice to gauge exactly how big, but probably around half the size of the last one would be about right. This is about the maximum size you're going to want to inflate one of the inner ones. And a really cool thing is once you do this, you can actually see the other ones in print inside the balloon. Now, I'm going to let this out only a little bit because I want to make the purple stand out just a bit more. That will be about right. Take the inner one that you've just blown up, like we've discussed, and tie it off. Pro tip, make sure to keep holding onto this one or else you might knock it in. I've done that on many occasions. And it's not pretty when you just have to waste 2 balloons just so you can get one out that you've dropped. Like always, this is just one design you can do. Like always, there's many different things you can do. You can inflate the inner ones a bit bigger so that it has a bit of a weird shape, or you can inflate the outer one a bit less so that they press into it. And that really cool effect when you don't actually need to tie it at all and there's no air except for the 2 inside of the balloons, which is already obviously tied. Another thing you can do is make the outside not transparent, and that really is a cool effect because when you pop it, like we're about to do, it looks like 2 balloons have appeared from nowhere. Especially if you make one of them the same color and the similar size to the other one. One more thing you can do is you can also fill the balloon with plastic, like broken bits of other balloons, like this piece from our orange balloon. And that's really cool because when you just pop it, just random plastic goes everywhere. No one knows where that came from. So anyway, without further ado, let's just pop it. Like always, all you do to pop it is just grab the top, turn, and it should pop. As you can see, these 2 have been stuck together. They've been pressed together so long. And let's see if we can undo them without them popping. So yeah, that one just popped. As you can see, it's still on there, and I doubt I'll be able to get it on without it popping, which I haven't. There's certainly a lot of cleanup to do. At number 3, we have a balloon inside of a balloon inside of a balloon. Now for this one and others that have a higher amount of balloons inside of them, I'm gonna require a bit more tips and tricks because they're almost impossible to inflate with your lungs alone. What you're gonna want to do first, like always, and even more this time, is inflate and stretch as much as you possibly can. This is so key, I cannot overemphasize it. Because if you don't do it, you're almost certainly not going to get anywhere. Maybe you have strong lungs enough to do 3, but when you get to 4, 5, and 6, it's almost impossible to do it without some seriously strong lungs if you haven't stretched them properly beforehand. Now don't worry if occasionally you rip a balloon, it's worth it because if you stretch to the point where it's about to rip, it's going to be much easier to inflate and your design will look much cooler. Just for comparison, that's one I've just stretched. And this is one that's unstretched. You can see the size difference. So as always, we need to make the inner one the darkest one. In this case, just pick green because it's one of my favorite colors. And then gold, and then yellow. So what you're going to want to do is take the inner one, in this case green, and roll it up like before. And stick it inside of the outer one, which is gold. When you're doing this, it's pretty much just doing a balloon inside of a balloon. But this time, you're not actually going to tie it off. You're going to do all the same things, even to inflating it, just to stretch it out and get them perfectly aligned. If they're not exactly aligned, it won't work. In this case, I've just blown the green one up with the gold one outside. I've just let it out, and now all you do is you take the outer one, treat this like a single balloon, roll it up again, and again, if this is not perfectly aligned and tight enough, it's not going to work. And then shove it inside the yellow one. This is actually easier than the one we showed you at number 2. And the reason for this is, when you do this, they're already so well aligned that it's not too hard. After a lot of pinching and pulling, you'll have this, which is pretty much just a solid piece of latex. Now, if you're gonna try to do 4, I would scrunch this up and do previous steps again using another color. It's actually very important that they're all different colors unless you want to disguise them, or it'll be almost impossible to differentiate them. If you're gonna do more than 3, which I do recommend, but only once you've done these many, many times. What you can have to do is actually not inflate this first one first. You're going to want to inflate the outer one, and then a bit to the second one, and then a bit to the third, just by targeting your breathing. It makes it easier for you, but if you're gonna do 3, it's just not necessary. Anyway, with that, let's just blow this thing up. If you haven't gotten your lungs straight enough, this is going to be very, 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 very difficult for you. But once you've done a lot of practice, it should be easy. Split it to about this size, just so you can let a bit out when you're pulling it. And once you have it like this, just let small bits out until you get to around that size. The reason you always want to inflate a bit more is that it's very hard to inflate as opposed to de-inflate because you have to put your mouth back, and it's just easier just to let out air. What you're going to want to do, making sure you don't have any air trapped, which is very common in this one because so much pressure inside, just wrap it around your fingers, and like always, just tie it off. Take it inside, and no prizes for guessing what you do with the inner one. Inflate to about this size, tie it off, and insert it inside. Once you're done, your balloon should look like this. And what you'll notice is actually the inner balloon will stick to the top because there's so many balloons rolling together. There'll be a lot of static electricity rolling around, and it will pretty much stick to the top for a little while after, and there's nothing much you can really do. You want to make it look really cool, which also increases the static, obviously, because there's even more balloons. You would actually do, and this is definitely a pro level version of this, but you can do second one of these in the bottom. Wow, this takes a lot more time to do. It's gonna be worth it, and how cool it is. Now, let's pop it. Just grab the top. In that case, you didn't have to twist. It would come off too fast. You can see it's about the size of the inner balloon that you're going to want to inflate to. I've just twisted it 720, and it hasn't popped, so I'm not really sure what to do about this. I actually just had to cut a hole in it because it wouldn't work. And even then, it didn't pop. It just cut. There we go. And you see, that's about the size of the inner balloon. It's not huge. It's not that impressive. But what is impressive is the effect of having 3 in 1. I have one final little tidbit for you. If you've mastered all of these and mastered 4 and 5, I think it's time for you to move on to the next level. And this is the next level. It's a huge balloon, and I don't have enough time to blow it up on air because it takes about an hour and a half with all blowings and getting balloons in here. But my record for this is having 9 balloons side by side in here. And of course, you can do overall about 18 in here and without much trouble. This is the ultimate thing for everyone who's an aspiring balloonist. I urge you to get them. I'll put the link in the description. Do pretty much whatever you want with these. You can even stick your arm inside, which I have seen people do. If you do that, you'll be able to, let's say, it's a broken balloon. And yes, it is possible to pop a balloon inside of a balloon. Because it is such thick latex, I've actually seen that happen more. I knew a friend once who poked one of mine with a fork, and the balloon didn't pop. The one that was inside popped, which I thought was rather amusing. It's just really fun because it inflates to a humongous size. Big, you wonder, about 90 centimeter radius. If you want to, you can inflate it a bit more. If you enjoyed that, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you didn't enjoy that, don't forget to thumbs down. And if you really enjoyed that, don't forget to share and post on social media. It means a lot to me. Also, if you want to get into the giveaway to win some of these, I'm not really sure why you would want to win it, but if you do, don't forget to enter the giveaway. By the way, once you enter the giveaway, it'll send you a link so you can, for other people, for every other person that enters, you get an extra credit, so it's really worth doing. So if you really enjoyed this, don't forget to check out our Patreon page. It means so much to me. I mean, that means so much to the show. And if you can't, no worries, just keep watching. And thank you so much for watching, and peace out. And this is not one to pop. Wow. And even more, balloon inside of a balloon inside of a balloon inside of a